Good morning, friends. We continue with our lecture on human eye and the colorful world. So far we have seen the working of the human eye, its defects. So there we completed the human eye and its working and how we observe the world. Then in the next part we saw refraction in a glass prism. So the prism is a combination of a glass slab and a lens, we can say, that we'll discuss later on. But we saw the refraction in a glass prism, how the refraction in a prism is different from a slab. But today we are going to do something else. We now move towards the prism, but instead of refraction only, that is the bending of light, we are going to see dispersion of light through a prism. So what is this dispersion of light? We'll check out. The dispersion of light through a glass prism. Now what you can see in the picture is a ray of light, white ray of light. This white light is coming out from the other side in 7 different colors. So you can observe the white light is coming out in 7 different colors. This is violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. Though it looks like pink, the light colors are not correct, but we have to remember the form Vibgyor. So Vibgyor is violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. So what is this dispersion and why does it occur in a prism? Now very important is this white light. White light, what is white light made up of? Now we can see this white light is made up of 7 different colors. White light is made up of 7 different colors. But why do we see white light? So our eyes are used to it. When all these lights, the whole spectrum reaches our eye at the same time, then the combination of all these colors will give us the white light. But when light enters, we have seen why refraction occurs. If you remember the previous lectures, you will know why refraction occurs. When light goes to a denser medium like glass, the velocity of light changes and so light bends. I hope you remember this. So when light goes from a rarer to a denser medium, or whenever light changes a medium denser to rarer or rarer to denser, the velocity of the light changes, hence light bends. Now you can see what happens here. Different colors of light. Now this white light is made up of 7 colors, but all these colors bend through different angles. Why does that happen? Now you will see all these 7 colors have almost got the same velocity in air, means travel at the same speed in air. But when they enter glass, then the velocity of each light changes in different proportions. So as the velocity is changing, so is the bending change. So when the incident ray passes through a prism, you can see the red light bends the least. You can see the bending here. This light was coming like this. Violet has bent maximum and red has bent minimum. Red has bent minimum and violet has bent the most. So rays of each color take different paths. Why? Again, all these 7 lights have got almost the same velocity in air. But in glass, velocity of the lights become different. So they bend differently. So this band of distinct colors is called a spectrum. Remember, this is the visible spectrum, the colors we can see. So the band of the colored components of a light beam is called the spectrum. So again I am telling you, remember, this is the visible spectrum. And this phenomenon, the phenomenon of splitting of light, into its component colors is called dispersion of light. So as you see in the diagram, we have got the dispersion of white light. So now what are the things you have to remember here? White light is made up of 7 different colors. Okay, there are many other colors, but we will look at the primary 7 colors. White light is made up of 7 colors. Now when all the colors reach your eye with the same speed, like when they travel in air, then we won't see the colors separately, we will see it as a white beam of light. But when light goes to a denser medium like glass, the velocity of all the lights is different in glass. So according to the velocity they bend. So here what happens, they first bend at the first surface, then they bend at the second surface, they split up, and this is called dispersion. So Newton also tried something else. Okay? Now you can see there are 7 colors, but we cannot see all of them separately. We'll come to that later. Now you can see here what Newton has done. Newton made white light or sunlight to fall on a glass prism. Now how that was done, you can close down a window completely with a cardboard and make a small hole in the cardboard. So you can take a cardboard and put it on the window, or you can put a curtain on the window and a very small hole through which the sunlight or white light can come out. When this light is incident on a prism, what do we see on the other side? Red and violet color and all the colors in between. We will see the Vibgyor or the rainbow pattern. So Newton was the first one to use a glass prism. Now people thought the prism has got some special powers which makes white light into 7 different colors. What did Newton do? Newton tried to split the colors of the spectrum further. He wanted to further break it up by using another similar prism. But no matter in which way he kept the prism, he could not get any more colors. Then what he did, he placed a second identical prism in an inverted position. You can see this prism. It is put in an inverted position with respect to the first prism. What happened here? Here, red light bent little and violet bent more. But here violet is bending in the opposite direction more and red is bending little. And they all merged to give out which light? White light. So here the white light split into 7 colors, with the 7 colors merged to give out white light. So it was found out that a beam of white light emerging from the other side of the second prism. So Newton got the idea that sunlight is actually made up of 7 colors. Okay? And any light which gives a spectrum similar to sunlight is often called white light. So Newton understood the idea that sunlight is made up of 7 colors. Now if you look at the sun in the afternoon, you will observe it is mostly white. Why? Because light is reaching your eyes. All the colors, different colors, are reaching your eyes at the same time, giving you the perception of white light. So Newton has done what? Taken 2 prisms. Now what you can see is if you place the 2 prisms near to each other, it almost becomes a glass slab. You can see this surface and this surface are now parallel and it looks like a glass slab. So this is what happened in the glass slab. Remember? So it may almost happen in the glass slab. If the light enters one side, splits up, but again merges together and we get the white light from the other side. So if you see here, this is the incident light, this is the emergent light, you can see the lateral shift, just like what happened in the glass slab. So the only point to remember here is white light or sunlight is made up of 7 different colors, but in air all of them pass with the same velocity. So all have got the same velocity, they will reach any place together and it gives us the perception of white. But when white light passes through a denser medium, say water or glass, then the velocity of all the 7 different colors is different. The velocity differs. And because the velocity differs, the bending also differs. You can see red bends the least and violet bends the most. On the other side also, red still bends the least, violet bends more, and we get a rainbow sort of spectrum or the 7 colors all separated. So this is how nature has worked. This is what happens in a prism. right? The prism is also refracting the light, means bending the light, deviation. But along with deviation, now there is a new phenomenon called dispersion of light, that is the breaking of light into 7 different colors. So we see it again, the dispersion of light through a prism, one more time. So now we'll understand in detail. When light is sent through one of the rectangular faces, the white light, it enters the prism and exits from the other rectangular face. Now you can see the reason I told you. Different colors of light travel at different speed. So you can see here, red light has got velocity maximum, means the light does not change much. So the bending is least. Violet, the velocity becomes minimum, so it bends the most. So violet light bends the most because the velocity changes a lot. Red light, the velocity does not change much, so it bends very less. So all the 7 different colors have got different speeds. So they bend differently, or we can say the refractive index is different. Because the speeds are different, so what happens when the white light passes through the surface of a prism, its components bend by different angles. And it causes a single beam of light to separate. So this is called the dispersion of light or splitting of light into the spectrum. Okay, now we'll see where in nature do we observe this. But before we go to the nature, there is one more phenomenon we need to do, that is total internal reflection. The topic is not given in your book, but we'll just see through it once. Yes, we'll just go through it once. Now if you remember that last lab, when light goes from rarer medium to denser medium, it bends towards the normal. And when it goes from denser medium to rarer medium, it bends away from the normal. So here what is done, a source of light is taken. A is a source of light, you can say in glass or water, denser medium. Now this source of light you can see is traveling perpendicular at B1. It does not bend, it directly goes out without bending, it's perpendicular. A second beam of light B2. Now we draw the normal at B2. This is the normal. What you can see, the light is bending away from the normal. Why? Because it is going from denser to rarer, it is bending away from the normal. So this is the angle of incidence now, and this is the angle of reflection. A third normal, we have increased the angle of incidence, it is going far from the normal. Now, there comes a position where, for a certain angle, the ray of light becomes parallel to the surface. The ray of light becomes parallel to the surface. This incident angle is called the critical angle. So you can see, when light goes from denser medium to rarer medium, it bends away from the normal. So as you increase the angle of incidence, the angle of refraction also increases. So it goes further and further away. So here it will go far, here it will go still far. At one point for angle of incidence, it becomes parallel. This is called what? The critical angle. Now if the incident angle, you can see this angle here, is greater than the critical angle, then light will not leave the surface, it will bend inside the surface. And you know, for reflection, angle of incidence equal to angle of reflection. What did you see here? Now remember the phenomenon very well. This only happens when light goes from denser medium to rarer medium. So when light is going from denser medium to rarer medium, it bends away from the normal. At one angle of incidence, it becomes parallel. So when the angle of incidence becomes greater than the critical angle, light will not leave the medium but be reflected in the same medium. This phenomenon is called total internal reflection. Which are the conditions for total internal reflection? There are 2 conditions. Condition 1, light should travel from denser medium to rarer medium, denser medium to less dense or rarer medium. And secondly, the angle of incidence should be greater than the critical angle. When these two conditions are met, the light will not leave the medium. The light will not leave the medium, it will bend inside the same medium. This is called total internal reflection. So now we have seen phenomena like we have seen reflection, refraction, dispersion and total internal reflection. So this is what happens to light when it travels to different media. Now in nature we see certain phenomena. So we'll understand the first phenomenon is the dispersion of sunlight which gives rise to the rainbow. So in the picture you can see a rainbow. You can usually see a rainbow after a rainy day or during the rainy season. Now how do we get this rainbow? So you can see the sunlight or white light and you can see a raindrop. It is a spherical drop here, but we do not have a raindrop like this. You can understand that in a rainy day the whole atmosphere is filled up with moisture. Moisture. So what is moisture? Moisture is nothing but water droplets or mist. So when the sunlight moves from air to water, this is a water droplet. Air to water, it will bend towards the normal, so it is inside. Now on this surface of the water droplet, light is going from denser to rarer. But if the angle of incidence is greater than the critical angle, the light will not go outside the medium, it will bend internally. And after bending here, again at this surface, the angle of incidence is less than the critical angle, so the light will come out. Red light and violet light. So on this side, we will get the rainbow. So rainbow is the natural spectrum of the sunlight after rain shower. It is caused by what? Dispersion of sunlight by tiny water droplets in the air. Now where you will see the rainbow, a rainbow is always formed in the opposite direction to that of the sun. Means we have done this wrong. If the sunlight is here, the rainbow will almost be on the opposite side. Internal reflection, and on the opposite side, somewhere here, you will find the rainbow. So what is the things happening in the rainbow? At the first surface, refraction takes place. On the second surface, total internal reflection, then again refraction. So refraction along with total internal reflection gives the result of a rainbow. Okay? Now because the dispersion is occurring here and the internal reflection, the colors will reach the observer's eye separately. Because the velocity is changing, all the colors will not reach together. And because the colors do not reach together, we can see each and every color separately, and hence we can see the rainbow. On a normal day, the sunlight reaches our eye, all the 7 colors travel with the same speed and reach the eye, giving rise to the white color. But in the rainy season, because of this water droplets and because of the dispersion and total internal reflection, the velocity of the different lights change. And because of the velocity of the different light change, all the lights reach our eye differently and we can see all the different colors, and hence we see the rainbow. So to understand the rainbow, we have to understand refraction and total internal reflection. So remember this topic, total internal reflection, because light is going from water to air, and because of the angle of incidence which is greater than the critical angle, there is total internal reflection. So remember the formation of the rainbow. Now atmosphere is doing one more thing, is what we see as the apparent position and the real position of the sun and the stars. We can even see the moon, but the moon is nearer to us, but the sun and the stars are sources of light. Now, what we need to understand from the very beginning. First, let us understand the Earth's atmosphere. The density of the Earth's atmosphere is not uniform. Remember, the density is not uniform. The atmosphere is denser at the surface of the Earth. And as we go higher in the mountains, or as we go higher, the density keeps on decreasing. So you can say the Earth has got layers, you can say. Surface of the Earth, layer 1, layer 2, layer 3 and so on. They are layers. Here the atmosphere is very denser, but as we go higher, the density keeps on decreasing. Okay, so the surface of the earth, the density, as we go higher, density keeps on decreasing. Now imagine the starlight or the sunlight. So we have got a sunlight here, we have got a star here. The starlight or sunlight enters the earth's atmosphere. Now since the light is coming from the top, and like I told you, there are different layers. The bottom is denser, the top is rarer. So light is coming from rarer to denser medium, so it bends towards the normal. Yes, at each layer, it bends towards the normal. So because the light has bent, the person feels the light has come from this position. Light travels in a straight line. So actually the star is here. But because of the bending at each surface, the person can see the star in the apparent position. If you look at the sun at the horizon, we can see again the layers, different layers. This is a rough drawing. At each layer, light is bending towards the normal. So this is where we see the light. So the sunlight, you can see when it is at the horizon, yes, it is bending at each level and reaching the eye. So the person can see the sun in the apparent position. Now you will say, why horizon? You can see here, when the sun is at the horizon, it travels a longer distance. So bending is more. As the sun rises in the sky, the distance traveled is less, so the bending is less. When the sun is actually overhead, the distance is less, so the sun will be not seen in the apparent position, but almost in the real position. So why this happens, I hope it is clear to you. Remember, how you write it? The density of the Earth's atmosphere is not uniform. It is denser at the surface, and as we go higher, the density keeps on decreasing. So starlight and sunlight on entering the Earth's atmosphere undergoes refraction continuously at each layer, it means, before it reaches the Earth. Okay? The atmospheric refraction occurs medium of gradually changing refractive index. So the atmosphere is bending the light towards the normal. Why towards the normal? Because at each layer it is coming from rarer to denser. So the apparent position of the star and the sun is slightly different from the actual position. And the stars appear slightly above when viewed near the horizon. So this is the apparent position of the sun and the stars. So what we see when the star and suns are at the horizon, we do not see their real position. Because of bending of light, we actually see their apparent position. So this is one thing we should remember, the refraction in the atmosphere. And why the refraction is occurring? Because the atmosphere is not uniform, denser on the surface, and it gets rarer as we go higher. So the bending of light doesn't give us the real position, but gives us the apparent position of the sun and the star. Now, because of that apparent position, we have an advanced sunrise and a delayed sunset, or almost an addition of 4 minutes to the day. Now, look at this is the horizon. So when the person is standing here, he cannot see the sun because the sun has not risen yet. The sun is below the horizon, but because of the bending, the person can see the sun, the apparent position. So you can see, even though the sun has not risen, 2 minutes before the sun rises, 2 minutes before the sun rises, the person can already see the sun. So there is an extra 2 minutes. In the same way, on the other side, when the sun is setting, the sun has set, yet this person will be able to see the sun in the apparent position 2 minutes after the sun has set. So this 2 minutes and 2 minutes give us 4 extra minutes in the day. Now I told you yesterday, there is also one more reason for apparent position. The sun is very far from the earth. The light of the sun takes 8.3 minutes to reach the earth. So the sun that we see was actually there before 8.3 minutes, because by the time the light reaches our eye, the sun has already moved. But that timing we keep it for different purpose. Here we see refraction is causing an advanced sunrise. So in actual, the sun has not risen, but we can see the sun in the sky. And here the sun has set below the horizon, but still we can see the sun in the sky. So this 2 minutes in the morning, it is visible 2 minutes before the actual sunrise and 2 minutes after the actual sunset, giving us 4 extra minutes during the day. So when do we see sunrise? The sunrise should be when the sun actually crosses the horizon, but because of refraction we can see earlier than it has crossed the horizon. Now second thing here is given the flattening of the sun's disk. Now what does the flattening of the sun's disk mean? Now even if you see the sun is a larger body, it has got two surfaces, a top surface and a bottom surface. Now you can see the bottom surface has to travel more distance and the top surface has to travel lesser distance. Because the bottom surface is traveling more different distance, it goes more into refraction, and this has traveled a less distance, so it reaches here. So the sun actually looks flatter. So what is mentioned here, apparent flattening of the sun's disk means at the horizon, the bottom surface, the light from the bottom surface travels more distance. Bending is more, so we see the position. While the top surface travels lesser distance, so there is less bending. So you can see this is actually more and this is actually less. So the bottom surface, the refraction is more, in the top surface the refraction is less, because the light from the bottom surface travels more distance, light from the top surface travels lesser distance. So at the horizon, when the sun also looks a little flatter, that is a flattening of disk. So we can see the atmospheric refraction plays such a big role in our vision. So even though the sun's shape and the position is not changing, because of the atmospheric refraction, we see things differently. So there is a 2 minute early sunrise and 2 minute less sunset. We actually get 4 extra minutes in the day. And one more phenomenon of atmospheric refraction is twinkling of stars. Now only things to remember here is, when we see a star in the sky, because of all the factors mentioned above, we do not see the real position, we see the apparent position. Okay, just remember. We did this before, you can rewind the video and see. We do not see the actual position, we see the apparent position. Now these layers which I talked about are not uniform. You know, these layers are not uniform. It is air, and air constantly keeps on changing. So because the layers of air keeps on changing, then the light traveling to the eye also keeps on changing. So though the real star is here, we see the apparent position. Sometimes the star appears here, sometimes it appears here. So the star keeps on changing the position. The star is sometimes seen over here, sometimes seen over here, sometimes seen over here. Now because the stars are very distant, very far away, they are almost point-sized sources of light. Remember this. Because the stars are very far away, they are point-sized sources of light. And because the atmosphere is not uniform, the light coming goes on varying slightly. So the apparent position I told you of the star fluctuates. So it looks like the star is constantly changing its position. And because of that, the eye flickers. Okay, the light flickers, sometimes appear brighter and sometimes fainter, giving it the twinkling effect. So because the position is constantly changing, sometimes it appears brighter. Because when it is changing, the velocity is changing, sometimes it comes faster to the eye, appearing brighter, sometimes fainter. So why does it occur? Remember, because it is a point source of light, and second, because of the varying atmosphere, the apparent position of light is changing, sometimes appearing brighter, sometimes appearing fainter, which gives a twinkling effect. And that is the reason the planets don't twinkle and neither does the sun. The planets are near to the earth, so they are slightly bigger, called extended sources. So there are a large number of point source of light. Planets are bigger, consider them large sources made up of many different points. So the total variation, when some parts become bright, some parts become faint. In other cases, the other parts become bright and other become faint, but they all average out to zero. And thereby, they nullify the twinkling effect. So why do planets not twinkle? Because the planets are near extended sources of light, and the planets, yes, they have got different sources of light. Some are brighter, some are fainter. When the conditions change, some other become bright and some become faint. This effect nullifies each other, and hence we say the planets do not twinkle. So stars twinkle because they are point sources of light. The apparent position changes, and because of that sometimes they appear brighter and sometimes fainter, which gives us the twinkling effect. So today we have done the rainbow, early sunrise and early sunset, early sunrise and delayed sunset, the twinkling of stars. And this is all due to the varying layers of the atmosphere where the velocity of light keeps on changing and the bending of light takes place. So I'm going to end the lecture here. Thank you.